I feel you on the edge of my life. Driving a perfect wedge straight into my mind. Come out from under all these indecisions. Oh, make room for somebody else. Circling the edge, way up high. Don't know if I'll ever have a useful alibi. Gone too far to stop. Yeah, I'll try. Flying, crashing, looking for a perfect suicide. Circling the drinking and smoking yourself. Don't even wanna try. Make room for somebody else. Oh, I just wanna hide out from under all these indecisions. Oh, make room for somebody else. Circling the edge, way up high. Don't know if I'll ever have a useful alibi. Gone too far to stop. Yeah, I'll try. Flying, crashing, looking for a perfect suicide. Circling the edge.
To escape. We'll take your home. When you're walking on the moon, walking on the moon, chase your happy place. It will change your groove when you're dancing on the moon, dancing on the moon. When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. been, that I've never been, that I've never, ever, never, ever, never been.
Walking on the moon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to week 2 of season 3 Women's League. My name is the Russian Cthulhu. I'm once again joined by a wonderful Pi. How you doing, Pi?
Yeah, I'm doing great, but you know what? I actually feel a little bit silly right now. I just
Okay.
caught a glimpse of your cam and it looks so much better than mine.
Yeah, look, just managed to find today, or rather discover that the NVIDIA broadcasting service has actually been rolled out. So I finally get to be one of the cool kids that doesn't need the green screen as well. So
Oh, does it
that's
do it
exciting.
automatically for you?
Yeah, so it uses
Oh,
the RTX stuff to actually calculate all the background and whatever. It's pretty neat, quite convenient, gotta say. Anyways, before we get into big all the big games and all the big epic poggers matchups, we need to really also mention that we do have a Pink October running at XP Esports to raise awareness and raise some money as well for the charity for the Cancer Council. So, in the link that you are seeing, our dear viewers, on the screen, you can reach out and get some more information. And we are aiming to raise about $3,000 dues before the end of October. So yeah, this is a good time for a good cause as well, and might as well make potentially some people's lives as well. So, with that said, we do have one more announcement before we get into the matchups. That is the ZQ Racing MVP as well, coming right up as well. Massive thanks as well. Once again to them, as a matter of fact, and we shall be once again giving out one V6 Racer gaming chair to one lucky winner that will be voted at the end of the season to potentially get themselves a really nice chair. But now that with all the formalities, there we go. English is apparently hard today as well. Well, we are going to be going to the week 1 standings to have a look at what is so far the play the game. Nocturnal currently sitting at the top of the leaderboard, same as Elevate and 71st as a runners up, with only a single round difference here. Whereas Nutty Gaming, Kingswomen, Berries, Bees, and Shadownet are unfortunately yet to acquire themselves a dub. But although it's only been a single week, so only one set of matches that have happened, and Shadownet did get themselves a bye last week. Tonight, though, they will get the chance to really play it out. Let's have a look, though, before we get into all the depths of the matchups at the prize pool, the biggest incentive for all of the teams to really play for, and that is going to be for first place $1,500, 12 sorry, not 12. Second place $1,000, and third place $500, which is not a bad thing to really battle it out for, plus some bragging rights as well.
yeah, most definitely. If you're the top team, you get to bring home that $1,500, and you could buy a lot of siege accounts with that. As it is, let's look at the schedule for this week.
Definitely. Yeah, so the schedule is going to be quite a very interesting one. Some very interesting matchups as well. So first one is going to be, like I mentioned before, is Shadownet versus Kingswomen. And I do believe that this is the Kingswomen that is slightly reworked. So we have a few returning names, some of the newer names. So definitely curious to see how will the Shadownet roster will stack against the Kingswomen roster. And further down the line, we shall be seeing Elevate take on 71st, which should be another very interesting matchup because, once again, both of the Elevate and the 71st rosters have been reworked, and the 71st roster has actually shown us some really good matchup last week, so quite thoroughly excited for that one as well. But let's get to match 1. Let's talk a little bit more about the Shadownet versus Kingswomen. So, with Shadownet having initially kind of a bye in the first week, do you reckon this does give them a little bit of an advantage against Kingswomen, given that, well, Kingswomen don't really have any kind of VOD material to really work around?
I think for ShadowNet, they're definitely at an advantage compared to Kingswomen tonight because, as you said, they don't have that, past intel about how they play or any VODs, whereas Kingswomen do. However, maybe having a week of a break or of a bye, maybe could have led to some relaxing on ShadowNet's behalf. So I really hope, just because they didn't have a game in the first week, they still have had the adequate practice as a team.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's have a look at the rosters here. First, at the ShadowNet one to see kind of where could they be standing around. It's Minxie, Mons, Diana, Soy, Crips, and Typhopai, and I do believe, unfortunately, Minxie will be subbed out tonight due to unfortunate injury. Nonetheless, that roster so far, I mean, we've seen a few good players from a fair few of these players. Well, from their performances, I believe a few of them actually played in different rosters prior to this season.
Yeah, most of these names are familiar. They were actually part of Forbidden Esports last
Correct,
season
yeah.
in Season 2. That would be Mons, Diana, Soy. And I believe Minxie was also their coach, so this time as their captain. She should have a similar role, if not a more involved role. And whereas Typho Pi was part of EXO Esport Gaming last season. And Crips is a name that we haven't seen in a while. She was a player on Season 1 Women's League. It's been a while, but she is a name that I have missed to see.
Yes, yeah. She has seen a resurgence now, and well, we shall be seeing some newer names as well coming around. Now, let's take a look at the Kingswomen roster. The roster that also seen a little bit of a change around in some of the players, but generally still have a few noteworthy names. That is Corvise, Angry Wolf, Brunek, Bernabear, Shivbon, and Mardina as the sub player. Now, any kind of thoughts about that kind of that roster?
Well, straight off the bat, I can definitely tell you, that there's a few unfamiliar names that neither of us have seen in this Women's League tournament, whether it's Season 1, Season 2, or this current... Well, I was going to say this current season, but here they are, so I'm going to scrap that thought. However, Corvise is a name that we have seen. She was the previous captain of Kingswomen as well. And if we recall, last season, Kingswomen did do quite well. They were neck and neck with Elevate for the large majority of the season. It was unfortunately at the end that they slipped up to EXO, where EXO was able to claim second place. But, going third place is still quite impressive. So
Definitely.
I'm curious to see if they'll have a repeat of a performance, if not a better performance.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see whether it will be a good day for them, or rather, good matchup for them tonight. But we also have some map bans to really talk about and really have a look at, because we shall be also having a look at which map we shall be seeing to be played out. And, well, out of all of them, it is going to be Clubhouse that will be replayed. The map that has been fairly popular as of recently, and been kind of overshadowing almost quite a fair few maps in the current competitive pool.
Yeah, I think for Women's League, one of the top two maps that we do see are Oregon and Clubhouse. So to not see Oregon, I was sort of thinking to myself, yeah, it's going to be a Clubhouse pick most likely, because it is something that a lot of teams have shown that they're quite comfortable on, whether it's attack or defense, or whether it's because they've played it a few times in Season 1 or Season 2. So to see, two experienced teams with names that have recurred to be playing on such a normalized map is going to be definitely a fun experience to see if they can show us anything new, or to see if they can assert their dominance very early on.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, with the fact that, yeah, like you said, there is going to be the beginning for ShadowNet to defend, or rather, pardon, attack. I'm definitely curious how would it really work out for them. Now, we are just waiting for a few more players to join in, but we shall be getting that game underway very soon. Now, do you reckon we could be seeing a very close matchup, or do you reckon this will be kind of a quick stomp here by either one of the teams? I know that you partially answered that question just recently, but thought I'd kind of solidify that thought rather.
Well, historically in the Women's League games that we have seen, a lot of the times despite what map gets picked, most teams have shown that they're a lot more confident on the defense side, unless you get two teams where one team is a lot stronger just in terms of mechanics, whereas then it just becomes their map to take. But when it comes to two evenly matched teams, a lot of the times we will see a stronger defense, point scorage. So I'm interested to see if this is going to happen, because if Shadownet manage to score a few early rounds off when they do start on attack, this could really cement a really early lead for them, and it's something that they'd be silly to pass up on.
Right. Okay. Now, we also had a little bit of a interesting fact that recently, well, somewhat recently, about 2 days ago, actually, a new patch has dropped in Siege, which did see a few balancing changes, namely the Ace slight nerf from 3 ticks to 2 ticks, the addition of the secondary shotgun to Frost, and probably the biggest one is the shield nerf with the whole guard break animation, which I'm curious to, I suppose, get your thoughts as well, because to me, say the Ace nerf is more so kind of like a quality of life, rather to kind of even him out on the same kind of playfield than comparative to, say, Hibana, Thermite, or Maverick, whereas the shield nerf, especially the fact how Clash interacts with the attacking shields, it kind of makes me curious whether we shall be seeing a whole lot more of Clash picks, given that there's a little bit more of a incentive, I suppose, to have her picked now.
Yeah, I do want to say though, I feel like to be picking a shield operator is to show a certain depth of confidence and understanding in your team composition already. If we were going to be specific about Clubhouse per se, which is a map that you don't really see a lot of shield picks, sometimes for some sites you will see like a Montaigne pick on attack, but the map I'm trying to think of is Oregon, where it's a lot more shield orientated, especially the basement bunker attack or defense, whichever one you want to go for. We've seen a lot of Clash picks, we've seen a lot of Montaigne picks on either side, but for a map specifically like Clubhouse, I don't think these teams are going to be going towards shields, because I don't think a shield is within the comfort pick range of either team. If, however,
Right.
it is, and we've talked about how there are new members of Kingswomen that we've never seen play before, so they could have a hidden trick up their sleeve. It will be interesting to see how the new explosives interact with the shields, and to see if more teams will be taking impacts instead of nitro cells, because if it's going to disrupt a shield anyways, you might as well just carry an impact, because you have two of them rather than just a one
attempts.
nitro cell.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. Yeah, that might actually change just a little bit the general kind of decision making for what could be picked or what not. Another thing that I also I'm curious, or rather more so, it's going to be a kind of a long running question throughout the most of the season, is the change to Frost. We've seen a few odd Frost picks come out from some of the teams that we saw, at least if my memory serves me right. With the fact that she's now a little bit more, what will be the right way to call it, a little bit more usable for just even general kind of rotations. Her loadout is a little bit more flexible. I am curious whether she will be more frequently picked, not for her utility, but more so for just her general loadout, given that she has the ballistic shields as well. She has the secondary shotgun to open those rotations. She has a pretty decent SMG, especially if you slap the laser sight on it and try to go for the hip fires. For that matter, I think it's one of the best ones, I think. And to top it all off, you can essentially set up the traps to force essentially the attackers, whenever they jump through the window, to look first down before actually going for the actual gunfight. So maybe I'm overthinking certain things, but at the same time, I genuinely think that that update for Frost loadout is a nice kind of quality of life almost update.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I think Frost getting that secondary shotgun is really going to make her a lot more meta per se towards a team composition, because as you said, like, she has a lot of valuable secondary gadgets already, and her mats they might not net a kill, but they still force an operator to either burn a frag grenade to maybe get an alternate angle onto that frost mat, or to just look down as they vault through, which if the defenders peek at the right time, they could make this highly valuable towards them. So I think, Frost getting that secondary shotgun is definitely going to be a good thing. And I hope to see Frost being played more, especially in women's league where, people, I assume, through scrimming, through practicing, they're quite used to, the basic lineup of operators that you'll see every single time on defense. So to have Frost being, randomly thrown in, maybe 6-pick onto, but she can still accomplish the same purpose that someone like a rotate maker could do, it could be quite an interesting outcome.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we are still waiting for some of the players to come around and join, we shall be taking a short break and just getting everything set up and prepped to run straight into the game. So don't go too far away and stay tuned for some Siege action. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, going straight into Clubhouse. It is Shadownet versus Kings Women Cthulhu, and Pi on the microphone. And, well, it's ShadowNet's time to begin the attack here for themselves, as they're going to be the ones to kick things off here for the ban phase. Let's have a look, though, who will be banned first. Any kind of initial expectations here, Pi?
Well, I believe Kingswoman and ShadowNet are both quite normalized teams, so, I'd be seeing maybe a Thatcher ban, maybe a Jackal ban coming out of Kingswoman, seeing as they are the first ban. No, never mind, it's going to be a Maverick ban. Alright, well, Maverick is still quite a common pick to occur. He really denies that hard breaching, and especially if you're on defense, you don't really want that Maverick to be burning holes in your electrified wall, so maybe throw a few grenades in. Definitely not a good time.
Yeah, Maverick is certainly a very powerful operator, especially on Clubhouse, and he could definitely make things a whole lot more difficult for the defense to really deal with, but with him and Jackal now out, no more of the roam clearing, or rather, it's going to be a much more difficult thing to really pull off. We shall be seeing another ban that is going to be a mirror to be banned out, which is not as bad of a thing to really ban out, given how powerful she can make a few of the sites.
Yeah, I feel like Mirror is one of those situational operators where on certain defense sites, she really shows up that she's, an amazing operator, whereas on other sites, she's a little bit lackluster. But I believe it's, one of those specific those specific operator choices where you really don't want to be letting her slide through. Otherwise, you'd definitely be having a trickier time on attack.
Yeah, there's certainly going to be quite a difficult time for a few of the attacks, but hey, we'll have to see how things will further down the line go. But as it stands, first site will be the CCTV and cache. That will be picked, and looking at the lineups already, given the fact that Thatcher was able to slip through the ban phase same as Ace, well, we shall be seeing that dynamic duo now appear, given the fact that, well, it seems that all the friendship with Thermite has ended, and now Ace is being the new friend, rather.
I mean, despite the recent nerfs, I still think Ace is quite an incredible operator. He has, the smoke grenades that are really good if you want to go for a coordinated plant, especially on such a narrow defense-orientated site, such as the cache and CCTV. His breaches are still extremely great. You can still open up at least a walk-through hole with just one charge, and, he's got that great gun as well.
Yes, yeah, the gun is definitely a massive plus, allowing him to be that kind of the two-speed fragging giant. I suppose that's one of the ways to really describe it as, yeah, the AK-12 outguns at this point even the R4C, which is something that is quite unheard of nowadays, especially for the attackers. So overall, yeah, he's still a very powerful and S-tier operator even after the nerf. It's more so just to maybe, I suppose, make the life of the defense slightly easier. Probably will be the right way to really call it. Already an attempt is being done here, as the run-out could have been done here, but Burner Bear is not particularly going to be having a fun time as she's being hunted down by Soy here.
Soy managing to get that first kill onto Burn Bear. What an excellent start for ShadowNet. That is going to be the Jaeger that is cut down. Not the most impactful of all kills, but it does even it out to be a 5v4. So, that really gives them the additional pressure now that I would assume they have stock presence. I'm a bit curious to see what ShadowNet's attack is. They do have the breach walls for CCTV all opened. TikTok has this alternate angle in the garage rafters, which, to the viewers, if you don't know about this, taking Hibana and opening up those garage walls is a really strong way to cut off any rafter rotation that Brunek possibly might want to take. Ooh, Brunek sees, I believe it's Diana running across. Yeah, it was Diana running across, but she doesn't manage to give off any shots, which is possibly good trigger control, or maybe a kill that wasn't achieved.
Yeah, I think it was also quite a short window for the reaction as well, so it would have been quite a difficult shot to hit, or rather to completely just down even Diana. So maybe Brunek decided to just not even reveal her position at that point. So for now, though, she has plentiful amount of information, well, rather utility to just keep guarding her as another set of just flashbangs starting to be flying in, just exploding everywhere. There's just everything is being dumpstered there because this is where the main point of interest here for the attack. They want to get rid of the position of Wumai, and well, right now Brunek is certainly not going to be having a particularly fun time as how is that shot not really connecting?
The bars giveth and the bars taketh. But as this was going on, Crips managing to trade out a kill onto Brunek as Soy gets taken down from below, I believe it was. Mons does look ready to go for that plant onto CCTV. They do need that deployable shield to be taken down to get a little bit more of an advantage. Angry Wolf, meanwhile, takes down Dinah. This is an even 3v3. However, things aren't really looking good for ShadowNet because Crips is on quite low amount of health as well.
Yeah, quite a lack of health there is, as now Mons is the last person standing. She does have little amount of time, but had a fantastic gun. Unfortunately, though, KGW is just a little bit more powerful. They managed to stand strong there on their defense, and well, pretty nice, pretty quick. And well, there we go. Already the first round has been taken in the hands of the defense.
I think that was a really smooth push overall by ShadowNet, but I feel like, as we've seen a lot of teams come across when they are attacking, they'll get the first thing on the checklist done, and in this case, it would be to open up CCTV wars, get that control in rafters. I feel like once that's achieved, most teams get a little bit confused about which direction they want to be going in. When you're wanting to open up an objective, when you're wanting to clear out angles, you really want to be establishing where you want to be planting, because I believe Mons was in a little bit of a tricky position outside of that breach wall because A, that breach was still electrified, which means that if she vaulted through, there definitely would have been some sound cues that she would have vaulted, and B, there was a deployable shield that was staring right at her in her face that if you don't have the proper intel, you don't really know if someone's behind it, and it will make you a lot more cautious of what moves you want to be taking. So having Dinah die, early off without taking down that deployable shield is definitely a little bit of a misplay coming out from ShadowNet. Admittedly, it was a really great angle that I seen Angry Wolf on Maestro going at it onto the rafters, so can't fault them for that. But overall, maybe if they had another chance, we could see something different.
10 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, few misplays was definitely there in place for ShadowNet. Maybe they will be able to fix it up for themselves in this round. But hey, at the very least, they had a pretty good idea about where to approach. Obviously, the fact that they are playing with a 4-core plus a stand-in is certainly introducing a little bit of an issue for themselves, chemistry-wise, and maybe some of the understandings about how to play it out. But maybe we shall be seeing a change around. I'm interested about that setup by Angry Wolf, given that she doesn't have really any particular way to really fall back. So the moment that Goyo shield will be ridden off, that will be pretty much be it for Angry Wolf, unless she falls back from her position very quickly.
Yeah, I feel like that angle is incredibly easy to pinch off, if they had Mons open that hole up from trash. Oh no! I was going to say, if Mons used her ace charges to, open up some of those hard walls, but instead that Goyo shield just burns down Angry Wolf. That's really not the outcome you want to be going for. But Corvice is very close to getting that refrag onto Soy. Hopefully Dinah's drone will be spotting that out. Otherwise, Soy could be taking a shotgun straight to her face.
Well, the drone still hasn't spotted the mute player of ShadowNet. Instead, it's just some utility being ridden off, and oh, well, that's a bit of a missed drone play here. Corvice also is able to actually run away fairly scot-free there, with taking just a fair bit of damage to, well, just barely keep her alive. Although the pistol is there, Diana was very much prepared this time, as Bernabe is also down, and well, bit BM there as well then. Well, it's all down to Brunek, who was able to get Mons injured, but there's still 3 angry guns trained at her.
And it will be Diana's angry gun that manages to take down Brunek in that final kill. That was a good shot by Brunek to down Mons outside of that breach hole, but alas, there's just too many members of ShadowNet alive, and that's the round to ShadowNet.
Yeah, there we go. Sharon doing some pretty good job there to make sure that they keep things steady running. A little bit, though, once again, a little bit of a misplay there with missing out the Mute's location, but nonetheless, still was nicely done. And we shall be now retrying, though, Bedroom, as it seems that KGW are quite certain about their setups, and maybe few hiccups aside, they just might have been able to come out victorious from that round.
Yeah, having a Goyo on the field is always going to be very impactful, considering, how much utility the attackers are going to be bringing. In this case, it will be Diana's impacts on her Zofia gadget, possibly Soy's frag grenades, and also Monza's ace breaches if she chooses to use them on the shield. However, we really don't want to be seeing Angry Wolf dying to her own Goyo fire, so hopefully this time, maybe they have some ADSs to protect the shield, maybe just a better angle positioning so that shield won't get blown up, and Angry Wolf won't have to tank the entire duration of the fires as well.
And namely, another thing that I would love to see introduced for Kingswomen defense is some sort of rotation back from that shield. Say that the right side of the right patch of
like
the
rotate,
wall, and to be left soft for any kind of, like, say, impact grenade or a C4 to be blown up to open up a rotation, and then the left side of that wall to be left reinforced. That is, if you want some extra cover. So, yeah, I'm still a little bit puzzled about that whole setup, so maybe we shall be seeing a slightly different execution, but it seems that Soy is going to be the first person to make an entry, same as Crips on the opposite side of the building, to try to get some ruckus already started in the gym.
Yep, that first castle breach charge does manage to go down, and if that deployable shield gets taken down, Brunek is going to be in a tricky position to continue to bandit trick. As it is, however, Shadownet do have Crips on that Thatcher, so bandit tricking is going to be a lot more difficult. She's going to have to juggle her bandit charges a little bit more effectively, and this is going to be the Goyo shield going down, and oh no! Second time in a row, it's going to be Angry Wolf pretty much dying to her own flames. And this is why it's so important to not just have one ADS, but also to have a rotate out if you do want to be holding such a tight angle, especially with an explosive shield like that.
Yeah, it's seeming that there's quite a few flaws there in the setup of the Goyo, although as we say that, it's Bernabé that will be finding a few shots, but Soy, though, does respond with a double kill for herself, and now reunited with Crips, should still be able to make quite a hefty push here into the master bedroom. Does find the shot onto Shift Potato now as well, and all down to Brunek once again. C4 couldn't really find a single frag, so now it's more so down to the actual gunfights.
Manages to get that first headshot onto Soy, evening this out to be a 1v3. Mons is going for the plant, and no, Crips manages to take down Brunek in that final kill. As an excellent little last kill. So, Shadownet are really asserting their dominance over this gym and bedroom site. I am a bit curious to see if Kingswomen will go for a triple down onto that, or if they will, make the smart move and go all the way downstairs to that church and arsenal room. Speak of the devil, they are going to be going there. Oh, never mind. Cash and CC have opened up. I wasn't keeping track of the scoreboard. That was my bad. Cash and CCTV have been very effective for Kingswomen. They did win the first round that they had the defense side onto it. So I'm keen to see if there's going to be a repeat performance because, they, as the scoreboard suggests, they really do need to take some rounds under their belt and to probably destroy the momentum of Shadownet.
Yeah, the momentum is certainly quite a huge thing for Shadownet, whether it's their LPL Pro team or I would imagine here as well would be quite a crucial thing to really handle. And, Kingswomen had a pretty convincing defense here on this very site, so I'm assuming that we shall be seeing a repetition of that very thing. I am interested about this setup. So we've seen that very similar play previously as well, where we actually had Corvi sitting right by this entry into the servers, well, or rather CCTV from Cash, and then Angry Wolf actually sitting on the table above A, so technically nobody could see her feet to be shot out, at least until more patches of the wall would have been taken out. But This is a very unconventional setup that could sometimes backfire in case there's a frag grenade or, well, any other ways to really flush out anyone behind the soft wall. So, I'm curious if it'll work out the second time, because surely at this point, ShadowNet would have been able to really drone them out. And another question would be how much time would Bernabear will be able to drain out here as well on her roam.
Yeah, Bernabear is in a very effective position to hold as a defender, because a lot of the times, if you don't have that Thatcher, you'll see the attackers going downstairs into stock to clear out the bandit charges or the cage charges from below. But the Thatcher ban hasn't come through, which means that they are going to be able to open up that CCTV wall relatively easy. You just burn 2 EMPs, make sure that cage isn't tricky, and you should be able to secure an open breach hole.
Yeah. Well, already talking about the open breach hole as well, it's ticked off trying to find a few shots onto Bruneg, who's currently playing a very cautious game there. She sees just about a pixel, I believe, of Hibana's head, so won't be really playing up about that just yet. And it seems like it's a bit of a calm before the storm, before any kind of push will be happening. Mons is still kind of contemplating as to what needs to be done. Meanwhile, Diana already is way past the contemplation part and already starts pulling the trigger.
There is a drone that is spotting out members of Kingswomen on that rafter, so hopefully, all the Wamai charges and all the ADSs can get burnt, because they do know the location of the ShadowNet players.
Yeah, well, Diana is just creeping around trying to find a few shots, but it seems that, Bruneg, fantastic hold, will be solidifying herself a kill onto Cribs, but that only reveals now her position, now that they know that there might be a 2-player presence on the rafters. That means Angry Wolf and Corvise are the only 2 players that are currently, well, technically on site, at least in the head of ShadowNet. So now it's more so of a question as how quickly can they take control of the construction, and then start applying pressure onto the cache. Soy does manage to finally connect that headshot.
Yeah, I feel like for a smarter move for ShadowNet is to, pick up their resources and rotate over to the construction site, because there is such a strong garage rafter-centered presence, but it is going to be Angry Wolf swinging and getting that kill onto Soy. Meanwhile, ticked off, getting that refrag onto Shift Potato. I was going to say that rafters control is going to be really hard to take, but I guess just prove me wrong and just go for it and clear out everyone on rafters. But you have to be aware of that angle Angry Wolf is going to be having, because she managed to down Mons, and that's the diffuser dropped on site as well. It is going to be Corvise and Angry Wolf holding the tide against ShadowNet. Trades come out, and it is going to be Diana in that solo kill. Tries to find Angry Wolf, and she does. She managed to pre-fire down Angry Wolf sitting on that table. And yes, the timer ran out, but she was managed to get the final kill.
Yeah, in just the final few moments, Diana doesn't decide to manage to push in, but a little bit of a misplay that nearly caused the loss of the round, where Tiktov decided to push in straight with a diffuser right by that doorway and died at a very open position. But thankfully, at the very least, she was able to take down Corvise, who was playing as Smoke, so props to her. At the very least, it was a trade, and well, yeah, a winning situation for ShadowNet, as they are now in a 2-round lead. And finally, they shall be going down to the Church and Arsenal room to defend. So maybe we shall be seeing some different tactics to come out from Kingswomen, if they will be able to make any kind of a comeback and maybe slow down the general momentum that so far has been gained here by ShadowNet.
Yeah, we do see the Melusi coming out from Angry Wolf. No Go-Yo shield this time, no form of intel such as the Maestro coming out from Angry Wolf. Instead, we will be sacrificing those 2 operators for a Melusi, who can almost achieve the same thing. A lot of the times I've had talks where, sure, the new operators Melusi and Ace are quite strong, or even Frost now, who we haven't seen yet, but fingers crossed that we will see her soon. These operators are strong. But which operator are you going to sacrifice to have these, niche operators come in, such as the Melusi? So in this case, I believe it is going to be an intel operator that is sacrificed. However, Melusi is quite strong, especially with those impacts that she carries. For a site that is in the Church and Arsenal, you are able to impact trick a lot of the presence around in kitchen. Nitro Cell is just as effective if you want to, get a kill or 2, but an impact is still quite important.
I would say the fact that there's also a lack of Valkyrie is certainly going to be playing quite a large role in who will be successful in the hold. Either that or maybe the lack of pulse could also be a bit of an issue for Kingswomen. That is if they are relying somewhat heavily on their info gathering. Now, currently there is a manhunt currently out for Bernabe as the drone actually pretty sure it's spotted here. Bernabe is now completely lit up there, and now she is forced to really start falling back through the red stairs and onto the blue tunnel, which will be quite successful, but that is a very quick, very snappy room clear that has been done, and full control of the top floor, and as a matter of fact, it seems that the ground floor has been also taken over, so this is a good beginning for ShadowNet, as they still have a minute and 46 seconds left remaining.
Yeah, with this fast securing, ideally we should be able to see some of the hatches get opened, especially the stockroom hatch. It hasn't been electrified yet, which means that it should be relatively easy for TikTok to, Habana open that hatch, which means that they can, move their attention onwards towards the kitchen and the bar hatch as well. Yes.
Yeah, another actually thing I just kind of noticed is the fact that ShadowNet actually opted out of bringing an ace, decided to bring in more so conventional operators for the breaching, that is the Thermite and the Hibana, which theoretically is not a bad idea, but can they be an impact trick? No, Angry Wolf actually will be also opting out of that decision, so pretty quick set of breaches to be done, as TikTok is going to be using her last set of X-Kairos to try to get the breach done, but I think the timer is about to run out and the Kaida Electrical is about to tick it back over. No, actually, quite successful, and to top it all off, Soy does find the shot from above onto Shift Potato, and actually, as a matter of fact, Angry Wolf as well.
Those are really strong kills, especially that can be garnered from that kitchen hatch, which is why it's so important to deny it from being open. So I'm a little bit disappointed to see Kingswomen didn't have an effort to stop it from being opened. Dinah managed to get that kill onto Bernabe, but it is going to be Brunek trading it out onto Crips. Dinah with that double kill onto Brunek as well, and it is just going to be Corvise on 50% health, running for her life. Doesn't quite make it out of the site before Soy, manages to shoot her down from the back.
ShadowNet seeming to be quite ferocious about their approaches, able to really identify each and every mistake that it seems that Kingswomen are making, and pretty much straight on over from then. Just seeming to play exactly around that issue, which, look, worked out so far like a charm, and already a 4-round streak, seeming to be signaling us for a potential quick roll here by the ShadowNet roster, which should propel them quite far up on the leaderboard as well.
Yeah, especially after getting a bye in the first week, which meant that, you didn't have any points allocated towards your team. To start off your first game to especially be in a victory with a good round lead, a round difference, is going to be an advantage when it comes to the standings on the leaderboard. And sure, you might be saying this is just week 2, there's still many weeks left, but a win is a win, no matter how early or how late.
Precisely, and a week early is also going to be solidifying a very good standing and giving some extra room for error should there be a need for one. And well, for ShadowNet, this is certainly going to be a good way to really kick off their own season as well. Final round of the first half, which we are going to be seeing yet another unconventional defense from KGW, which I'm going to say that again. I like the idea. It's more so just I'm not too sure about the flexibility part of such hold, but
well, I touched upon this a little bit the last time that we seen the cache and CCTV site being chosen, but seeing as I have a little bit of the time, I'll develop that idea a little bit further. Kingswomen seem to go for a very strong rafter presence. If we look at how their operators are positioned, there's 2 members actually on the rafters. Bernabe is going to be solo roaming, however, ShadowNet has proven to be quite adept at taking out these members, but look at this, strong presence on the garage side. If ShadowNet can adequately drone this out, in which I think they have, they're going to be going for more of a construction-based push, because as you said before, Kingswomen have all this presence here, but there's not much flexibility, which means there's not much potential to go for a roam on the other side. if, you know, that construction wall gets taken down and they go for a plant in cash instead of CCTV, and they manage to take down Angry Wolf first, that should be quite an easy take, I think, because I don't believe Kingswoman is able to rotate back in time for that.
Just tried to switch over to Soy as quickly as possible, but unfortunately couldn't capture. Yeah, Soy had a fantastic drone out there and was able to get rid of the Maestro very quickly. Corvise now will have to really dedicate her attention to holding the cash room from the red stairs, whilst there's already a breach happening into the CCTV room. Now, another thing is, what could have been done is about at least Brunek's position is that once the breach was starting to happen by Hebana, they could have gotten the cutout from the rotation, but alas, that didn't happen. Brunek does manage to find some return on her investment against TikTok, but now, oh, there's a wild Burner Bear actually attempting to go in for a roam, and actually got a pretty hefty flank around. Does manage to find himself another frag, that is Diana, but get quickly shut down by Soy. All down to Brunek once again. Poor player of Kingswomen just can't seem to be able to get herself a break, but at the very least find some more frags. Goes in for the swing. Oh, able to actually even deny the plan. Now down to Crips to try to go in for the swing. Goes in for the peek, but no, the AUG is just a little bit too strong.
I don't know what happened. Kingswoman should not have won that by any account. You know, ShadowNet had that in the bag. They had all the early the frags out. You know, they had that site control so early on as well. You know, members of Kingswomen had to, you know, come back from their roam to reclaim that site, and they couldn't reclaim it. You know, Burner Bear died trying to come back to site. Corvise wasn't there to throw out her smoke grenades. Was it smoke or was it mute? Can't remember. Smoke, yes. She was, I don't believe she was actually managed to get any smoke canisters off. It was only the rafter presence. And if you looked at how that shield was being placed on the rafter rotate, she couldn't actually walk around that shield. The only way to bypass that shield would have been for her to vault over it, in which case it would have been suicide, because there's no way you can turn around that fast to shoot at anyone. But ShadowNet, I don't know if they, you know, misdroned that, if they were too confident, if they just had no idea Brunek was there. Surely after that first kill onto Soy, when Soy was running out of the breach in CCTV, they would have instantly said Brunek is on rafters, which meant that the person planting shouldn't have stayed there.
I think it's more so just maybe they didn't expect her to keep on peeking. Maybe, yeah, look, too many questions, too little answers at this point, I feel. But it is what it is. Kingswomen were still able to nab away the second point for themselves, funnily enough, on the same site that they began their defense on. So, with that said, we are going to be returning to CCTV, but this time it is going to be ShadowNet on the defense, and with them being on a 2-point lead. Maybe they would have a much stronger performance, but it feels like they've already had a pretty decent overall play when it came down to just having a very organized push, even with a stand-in, gotta say. That's probably the biggest thing for me, because knowing how some of the teams really rely on a good chemistry between each one another, it seems that ShadowNet had pretty much everything set up pretty well. Crips, fantastic bandit trick, will be able to drain out one of the Selma charges, and now it's time for Corvise to actually start throwing in the EMP grenades, as she's just waiting for Angry Wolf to actually make her way over to the rappel as well.
I'm surprised that we're not seeing more of an action in stock, because the Ace Selma charges are quite, compared to all of the hard breaching charges, I would say the Ace Selma charges are the easiest to trick out, because there is a lot of warning when they do get placed on the wall. You hear that little thud first, and then they activate. You know, Thermite is a lot more quieter with that beep of his exothermic charge activating, and Habana, a lot of the times, you don't really, you hear it getting placed on the wall, but because there's so many charges that can get placed, it's quite hard to distinguish which wall in particular. Dinah is going to be going for such an aggressive run out, however, doesn't manage to get any kills. You know, that roof was clear. Thankfully, Brunek was a little bit more tucked away. But this is going to alert members of Kingswoman that Dinah is there, which means Shiv Potato gets that first kill onto Dinah.
Now that's the whole of the roam completely outed. Soy is still hanging on the oil pit in hopes of aiding Mons whenever there's going to be a rafters push, but it seems that right now Kingswomen have a completely different idea about where to go in for the push, and rather now it's going to be Crips that will need to be very cautious about where the push could be happening and how to defend it, because she's about to get pressured very quickly. That Ash charge does get eaten up by the ADS, so that is a good beginning, but right now there's going to be quite a whole lot of utility already dumped straight into the cash room, and no support whatsoever, minus the fact that there's still ticked off playing just around the red stairs.
Yeah, Crips is definitely going to need some backup from her team relatively soon because, you know, as these angles get collapsed on by Kingswoman, Crips just has one too many angle to watch. She's got to watch for a construction door push, she's got to watch for a suicide window push, in which Brunek looks to be very eager to, you know, take that angle and maybe hop through. Soy is going to be going for a flank, which could be huge. She takes down Shift Potato first. Can she get that second kill? No, she can't. It will be Bernabé taking down Soy. Meanwhile, Crips does get taken down on site, which means it is just going to be Mons trying to reclaim this round. TikTok has been down off screen. Mons manages to get that first kill, gets that second kill. Is this going to be a repeat of what Brunek did? No, because it is going to be Angry Wolf taking, it is going to be Bernabé taking down Mons, and meanwhile, you know, TikTok dies due to being down as well.
Yeah, there we go. Kingswomen actually doing some good work and going for a push, being able to keep up the competitive scoreline against their opponents. And right now, well, a 3-4 scoreline is looking like we just might be seeing maybe a much closer matchup comparative to the matchup that Kingswomen had in the first week. So this is already a good beginning for them. They still need one more round to equalize the points count for both of the teams, and after that, well, the overtime and maybe the match point won't really be that far away.
Yeah, you know, Kingswomen, they had a little bit of a shaky start on that defense, but their attack is proving to be a lot more stronger and a lot more coordinated. You know, I've seen some effective drone usage coming out. I've seen, you know, those double pushes to cut off Diana when they realized she was all the way down in that strip bar. So, you know, some effective teamwork and communication out from Kingswomen that I haven't quite seen yet from ShadowNet. ShadowNet seems to be, you know, maybe it is the presence of a substitute instead of their actual core roster. It could be the lack of communication that comes with a roster change as well, especially ones such as in the last minute like this. But they haven't shown a lot of, you know, communication. A lot of their impactful rounds, you know, the rounds they've won have been off the backs of really impactful entry frags, which is still a good thing, don't get me wrong, but it is something that requires a lot of consistency to be effective.
Yeah, consistency is certainly going to be a very huge thing to really talk about for us for a while. And it seems that maybe it's more so the consistency about the defense/offense is going to be here the question. Namely for ShadowNet, given the fact that they had a pretty dominant beginning in face of the first half, being a 4-2 scoreline, and it feels like almost maybe they are starting to get burnt out. Maybe there's some sort of communication issues, or maybe it's just Kingswomen that just finally woken up and have begun really well fragging out. Diana is about to run into Ash off Bernabé, who's already all prepped and the sights have trained, but it seems that 416 is a little bit better in that gunfight, or rather just a little bit more shots were connected. But that does leave KGW with, well, one of the players less, and Shift Potato nearly, or rather Corvi's pardon, nearly
Yeah, nearly had a bad time, but Diana is so low. Hopefully that drone from Corvice is able to spot her out. That default camera on the defense side is going to be on Diana's side, probably helping her to see if there's going to be any bedroom pushes anytime soon. I don't think they spotted Diana out actually, because there isn't any push for Diana at this point. She is relatively uncontested on that third floor, and yes, she might be low, but that's an additional presence that could be the downfall of Kingswomen.
Yeah, that's a huge thing here. The fact that they weren't able to drone out Diana's position could be a very powerful tool for Diana to use up later on. With already 55 seconds remaining, less than a minute for Kingswomen to really make an entry onto the side and go in for the plant, the fact that even if she will be able to take down, say, the diffuser carrier or one of the players and slow down the push even further, this could really make the large difference. Already the drop down is happening. It's Soy that is getting the opening frag here onto Brunek amidst all the chaos, and now there's going to be pressure now applied by Korvais from the garage storage stairs, but I don't think she will be able to find any frags here on Soy just yet. 20 seconds remaining. Another drop down needs to happen, but Shift Potato does manage to finally find the shot onto Diana, so equalizing that player count a little bit more. But right now, with so much time already drained, only down to Korvais and Shift Potato, and right now both of them are very much disconnected from each one another. Ticktoff is on a double kill, 1 second remaining. Well, Crips is the one to end round number 8 in favor of ShadowNet.
Crips seems to really favor that crouch key of hers, I've noticed.
Yeah, look, maybe it's sometimes just the key ghost thing that happens on the keyboard. Maybe she just wants to test it out because, well, sometimes it's just, you know, a sticky
sure it's
key
working.
is... yeah, we gotta make sure it's working. Sometimes, like, it's a matter of life and death if you cannot crouch. So, gotta always keep on training. Plus, maybe she's just trying to take care of her operators, not to, for them to get arthritis or anything.
Oh, yes, true. How considerate of Crips. I don't think I've ever had the same amount of consideration when I'm in my games. I will admit a few times I have tactically crouched to, you know, prevent any headshots from hitting. So that is going to be my reason for hitting that key multiple times, repeatedly.
Multiple times. Very repeatedly, okay. I'm more so of just the straight lounging position sometimes. So it's crouch key is nice, but just involves a little bit more of like the thigh muscles. So I'm still yet to develop them properly.
You know, sometimes we just want to lay down and take a little nap and quickly get up again, you know?
Yes. Exactly. Well, memes aside, we are going to be seeing ShadowNet actually bring in a Melusi for their cache and CCTV defense, with the cache setup looking a little bit more conventional, with just the top part of the wall being open for Ticktoff to throw in the smoke grenades. Apart from that, really, not a whole lot of changes. Mons is still going to be playing as a Wamai to sit around the rafters and, well, try to eat up as many of the grenades as possible. And from there on, it's just more so of a question, how well can Soy really bandit trick here? Because, well, this time, Angry Wolf is actually going to be waiting for the EMPs to actually go off. But it seems that Korvais is just feeling a little bit reluctant to really throw in the EMP grenade, now, given that, well, it's technically, there's nothing to EMP just yet.
Yeah, definitely a little bit risky to go about, especially if they know Soy is bandit tricking. You know, having that charges in her hand is going to be an advantage. But it seems like Korvais' wait has paid off. She does manage to EMP one of Soy's bandit charges, which means that Soy can only place down one before needing to scurry away in panic with her Q. It is going to be those CCTV walls being taken down. However, off-screen, Brunek gets taken down quite early, which means that it is going to be the Capital. No more fire bolts, no more smoke bolts left for Kingswoman.
I wonder where that Capital actually died, because I couldn't really find the body, but nonetheless, that is an early frag indeed. Brunek was actually able to perform quite a fair few kills. As a matter of fact, she is the top fragger currently for KGW. So, with her out of the equation, things are certainly going to be looking a little bit more difficult here. Bernabeer has already managed to get a drop down into the logistics office, and there's actually a 3-player presence around the master bedroom / logistics. So Crips right now could actually get a really nasty flank, given that Soy just managed to get rid of Bernabeer as well. That is the big fragger of Kingswomen, and now it's down to Shift Potato and Korvais to actually try to go in for the push, as it seems that both of these players are going to be applying pressure to 2 different positions, with frag grenade now flying out, but easily zapped out of the way by the ADS. Oh, Melusi of Crips does manage to find a shot onto the sledge. Now it's Korvais that will be trying to hunt down the Wobble Wobble operator.
things aren't looking good for Kingsman Union. They really need to identify a win condition and work off that. It is going to be Angry Wolf taking down Soy, but Crips take down Corvice with a little excellent jump out, and it will be ticked off Smoke Canisters, actually finishing off Angry Wolf as that last kill. Oh, it actually went through. Did it go through the wall?
Might have been actually, but that is one way to die, which is quite unfortunate there for the Kingswomen player. Now, match point, potentially the final round of this map, and it will be actually done in the gym and bedroom site, which is, well, that's the side that Shadow were able to get quite a fair few rounds there, but I'm curious whether they will be able to perform as well on the defense rather than the offense for that side.
Yeah, I feel like the main reason why Kingsman struggled on that gym and bedroom side is because, I mean, I don't believe I have an issue with any of the operators that they actually took when they were on defense. The operator lineup seems fairly standard. I do have a small issue with how they held the site, I will say. You know, definitely the Goyo shields were a little bit questionable in their positioning. A lot of the times, you know, I can sort of guess the reasoning as to why they reinforced all the walls around the Goyo, possibly to make it a suicide attempt. You know, you either hold construction or you die, or you don't hold construction and you die. You know, two options. But there wasn't a lot of help that was attributed towards the Goyo, which meant that as soon as the shield went down, the Goyo went down almost instantly. It was an instant chain of effects. A lot of the times, if you did want to make that strategy more effective, you would need to extend your hold out into the adjacent rooms, those rooms being the cash wall, maybe reinforce the CCTV walls that lead to the outside as well, just to further delay the attackers from pushing in. Additionally, you know, having a castle barricade like Diana did on that construction window is also going to be helping out that Goyo. So just, you know, having a few things here and there, maybe having the Goyo hold with a shield that isn't explosive could also be good. Just so, you know, your feet don't burn off as you're trying to scramble out of the position that you're currently stuck in. So just a few small changes in their lineup could change how these things work out.
Yeah, a few quality of changes could be done here. But alas, well, Goyo will not be present at all within this lineup, although I'm already liking some of the setups that ShadowNet are bringing in, with some more rotation holes, some of the essentially kill boxes, that is, for example, Gym. But no presence actually of Tired really on the jacuzzi wall, which will be opened up like, well, pretty much as quickly as it can be. And first entry avenue is open. Bernabe and Brunek will be trying to make an entry here into Cash, but meanwhile off screen it's Soy to actually acquire the frag through a vile, absolutely nasty, disgusting hole in the dirt tunnel, straight onto the ace. But Mons, very quickly, very swiftly being taken out here, so a bit of a cheeky trade here between the two teams. An ace for Tired, the breacher for counter breacher. And full control of the cash room. I believe there still might be presence. No presence whatsoever in the construction, but there is a crossfire by Diana, who goes in for a little bit of a premature fire there, and maybe Ticked Off will be the next person to try to hold off the onslaught. But with that said, there is quite some breaching is being made. Crips also gets downed as well and finished off, and funnily enough, by the Hibana charges, exploding right under her, or rather above. And that does put us at the very advantageous position for King's Women, as Bernabe just keeps on going on a tear.
Yeah, Bernabe takes down Dinah, who has that logistic control, and with this, if they do manage to take down TikTok, this will be the master bedroom control. But it is going to be Soy, you know, still on that roam, manages to even out the number count a lot more for ShadowNet, which means that it is going to be now a 1v2 with Soy needing to reclaim site control to be effective. Bruna is going to be going for the plant, I believe. Yes, she will be. And Soy needs to take down... Oh, she gets handed Shiv Potato with that quad kill. And ladies and gentlemen, we could be looking at a pentakill for Soy. The smoke canisters do go out from Brunek, and Brunek doesn't have any drones available. The flash grenades do come out, and Soy doesn't have that intel needed to capitalize on where Brunek is. She just has to check every single angle and pre-fire every angle. Will she see Brunek prone? No, she doesn't, and it will be Brunek taking down Soy. No pentakill for you, Soy, tonight. But still, an excellent turn of events for Soy.
Yeah, Soy did absolutely a fantastic job there for her team. Nearly managed to get an ace clutch, and that would have been probably one of the flashier ways to really close off the game as well, because that would have been the match win as well for her and the team. Alas, didn't happen. Maybe on Church and Arsenal room defense it could happen, given that Shadownet were able to win it out pretty convincingly. So one more time into the battle for both of these rosters, so potentially the final round, or maybe King's Women will once again resume their attempt at the comeback.
Yeah, things are definitely still looking good for Shadownet. They are, up 6, 1 round away from getting the map win. And, this time they are in a lot more of a conventional defender bomb site down in that Church and Arsenal hold. So hopefully, they did it the first time quite successfully. Hopefully they do it again.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that will be the case here. Looking at the lineup as well, it's seeming just to be about the same as it was previously. The addition of the Ying with the Candela charges seem to have done just the right thing, which is keep the defense off the side as much as possible. By defense, I meant Soy at that point during the final clutch round, but look, overall, I'm liking the addition of Ying. She is fairly rarely seen in the Tier 2, Tier 1 scene, so seeing her being used to her fullest advantage is a great way to just change up the general meta and change up some of the operator picks. So, for the time being, we'll have to see if she will make the same change here on the Church and Arsenal room, because right now there might be quite a quick breach into the dirt tunnel, which should provide just, well, yet another entry point for King's Women to get, really, as actually 2 of the Selma charges will be used up here. Oh, Soy might actually just be able to get it. No, instead it was Crips, but didn't really go for the peak. And instead, we'll be just trying to hide around, as Bernabe is actually commencing the roam clear with Brunek on the drone.
Yeah, Shadownet really need to be on top of the toes right now. I think maybe that drone got hacked by Crips Pets. Yes, I was like, oh, she shot her own drone. Well, unfortunately, this does mean that there won't be any drone left for Bernabe. Instead, flash grenades will be coming out. She doesn't see Soy, and Soy manages to get her first kill of the round so far onto Bernabe. I don't know if they do know that Brunek is also there, but Brunek sees the danger behind this and manages to quickly retreat out, hopefully reconvening with her team to go for another push from another angle.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, whilst we were waiting for any kind of action up on the top floor, it seems that all of the attempts at the roam clear have been abandoned, and instead, well, King's Women will get back to their usual programming, which is trying to get the breaches going. Breaches were actually quite successful, with Diana being unable to do the impact trick. And, well, it seems that right now it's just more so of a time of the Romas to really kick it into the next gear, because, well, for Shift Potato, for Brunek, Angry Wolf, and Colvise, they already have 2 entry points that could really stir up the nest, and it seems that right now Diana actually was not particularly too happy about the fact that she was getting peeked right on her toes, and it's Shift Potato that actually does manage to find a turnaround back onto Crips, who was trying to get the flank.
It was still an effective flank because she did manage to take down Brunek, which means it was the Ying with all her Candelas taken down. Shift Potato does take a little bit of damage, I would say, from Ticked Off, who's holding quite aggressively under that kitchen hatch, possibly denying a drop or possibly denying any further angle peekage.
Yeah. Shiv right now is just trying to just get as much pressure going as possible, whilst Corvise is about to keep on pushing through the main stairs. All 3 players of King's Women are very much disconnected, but with 15 seconds remaining, the push needs to happen right here, right now. No reload has been done. Soy actually gets the kill into Corvise. That's another one for Ticked Off as well. All down to Angry Wolf, but even she cannot do anything here. That is a GG well played, as it is a 7-4 scoreline, with Shadownet winning their first game.
Yeah, things looked a little bit dicey for Shadownet, midway through those rounds, But Soy definitely pulled through with that Jaeger. You know, more than one round did she have those impactful entry kills or those early kills, whether it be on attack or defense, which is exactly what you want to be seeing out from, you know, your main fragger like that. 21 kills. I think that might be the first time in this season so far that we've seen someone breach that 20 kill hurdle, essentially. So that's definitely quite an achievement towards Soy. Very well done.
That is a very nice job, and well, through and through, that was game for Soy essentially to win out for her team as well. So props to her, props to Shadownet roster that was able to really come out victorious here. But yeah, 7-4 scoreline now. That is one way to really make an entry into the Women's League Season 3, but what it does also do is puts Kings Women at already 2 losses. The roster that was a very dominant one, kept a very stable second position throughout Season 2, seems to have had a bit of a drop down in their play, or rather in their positions, and well, right now facing a bit of a grim picture at the beginning of Season 3.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the times, however, though you're in a negative situation, you can still use it towards your advantage. For members of Kingswomen, you know, this is an excellent learning opportunity. Maybe they didn't have a lot of those in Season 2 because they were, you know, victorious on a lot of their maps. So when you're winning, you don't get to identify a lot of the problems you made. But when you're losing, you know, everything becomes a problem and everything becomes a learning experience, which, you know, as we're still just in week 2 of the Women's League as well, there's plenty of time to reflect on your mistakes and plenty of time to improve from that so that we can see a different side of them in the weeks to come.
Definitely. Well, we still have one more match to come around. That is going to be Elevate versus 71st that we will be getting into just after a short break. So don't go too far away, ladies and gentlemen. Get something to drink, maybe get some more popcorn, and be ready for match number 2.
Siege. Yeah, I've heard of it, and I am the GOAT. When I'm attacking, no room is safe. Doors. Yeah, I think I remember them. Before I discovered Windows, the thinking man's door. I've come up with something I like to call a spawn kill. You've probably never heard of it. Because when I'm in defense, nobody gets in my bank. Teammates, droning. Listen, I've got all of the intelligence I need right here. My only team is me, my gun, and my skills.
Alrighty, hello everyone, welcome back to match number 2 of week 2, season 3 of Women's League. My name is Russian Cthulhu. I'm once again joined by Pi, and Pi, we've just had an absolute phenomenal performance from Shadownet, taking over King's Women in a 7-4 victory. Any kind of final thoughts before we kind of throw our side over to match number 2?
Well, if Shadownet was looking for a strong game to debut their, first game of the season off, I think they definitely achieved that strong game. Especially, shout out to Soy with that 21 kill bomb.
21.
It's definitely something that's quite intimidating to go up against if you're any other team that's going to be versing Shadownet next week.
Yes, and definitely Soy will be kind of the target of quite a few teams to really try to get rid of her as quickly as possible early in the rounds. And, maybe that will be the key for them, or maybe the rest of the roster will just get even better and, we'll be able to all drop some very noteworthy set of kills. But before we get into match number 2, a quick reminder to everyone, we are running a Pink October charity that is going to go to the Cancer Council. So we are aiming to raise about $3,000 from now until October 31st. And for the donation link, you could go... You can either just grab one off the screen. It is bit.ly/XPWL Pink October. And, donate and help us raise the goal for a very good cause as well. But with that said, let's have a look at our updated tonight's schedule. Now, we've seen already Shadownet play against King's Women, and they've just managed to win out a 7-4. Now, we do have Elevate to play against 71st. Two teams that are currently on the top of the leaderboard, but it seems that currently, I believe, 71st are just 1 point away from getting to Elevate. So, the first place versus the second place to battle it out. Let's have a look, though, at the rosters closely and maybe go through a little bit of a theory craft here as we get to see the Elevate roster. Would you be able to run us through here, Pi?
Yep. So Elevate have Cortari as their team captain, Chloe, Blue, Lola, Butter, Chaotic Babe, and Han Y as their team coach. This is a team that has definitely shown us a lot of strength in the past, whether it is this season in which, they already have a strong lead established, or whether it was season 2, where sure, a little bit of the roster is different to what it was before, but as it is, Elevate was the team that took it out to be first place last season, so I'm keen to see if there is going to be a repeat performance maybe from the same organization, or to see, these new members step up and to show their potential as well.
Yeah, well, they still yet to come through and win out this match tonight, which could be one of the rather more important ones. It's 71st that will be challenging them, and let's have a look at their lineup as well to maybe see how things will really work out here. It's Toki, Ticked Off, Meeps, Zero Prince, Danny Matty, Weasel, and Fakers as the team coach. Now, biggest probably MVP from their previous matchup of 71st, I would have to say it's Zero Prince, given how dominant she was on the roam on defense whenever they played. I believe that was Oregon.
Yeah, 71st definitely had a really strong start off on last week, which was also the stream game. I'm keen to see if there is going to be a repeat performance. Roaming and flanking is going to be a lot harder when the enemy team is going to be expecting it. And, I'm sure against a team like Elevate, who has shown that they are very capable, I'm keen to see if, those aggressive roams, those wide swings will pay off as well.
All right, now, before we get into the game, let's also have a look at the maps that we are going to be seeing tonight and which map it will be. That is correct. Once again, another clubhouse will be seen, back-to-back clubhouses tonight, and it seems to be the main flavor here of Women's League Season 3 Week 2, as I just nearly blanked out on all of the numbers there. But it is going to be Elevate who will be starting things on defense, which should give them quite a nice initial boost of momentum and maybe some points. So any kind of predictions before we head straight into the clubhouse?
I definitely think Elevate will have the advantage in this matchup. As I said, they have shown that they are very strong when it comes to just pure game mechanics, as well as, just gunning, strategizing, being able to pull off flawless round after flawless round. They have shown they are capable of that. Whereas, 71st, we haven't seen a lot of stellar performance from them. In fact, I believe, last week's game where it was streamed was one of the first times where we did see 71st with such a strong start. So really could go either way at this point. I don't know if 71st have improved enough to be able to take, those impactful rounds away from Elevate and to make them pressured and to, really force them to play a little bit more conservative. So only time will tell, I guess.
Definitely. Well, let's go and have a quick peek at the clubhouse before we head straight into the ban phase. Elevate versus 71st, the two at the moment Goliaths will be battling it out. Curious who will be coming out successful here, and well, there we go. Bans wise, I'm thinking we might either see the Thatcher Ace ban maybe, or maybe Thatcher Maverick possibly here, but either or should definitely be quite a banger of a matchup, I will have to say.
Yep, that first ban is going to be coming out from Elevate's side. I definitely expect them to stick to a more conservative ban, such as the ones we've seen last map, whether that's a Maverick, Jackal, Thatcher, nothing too surprising.
Yeah, there we go. As Maverick will be the first ban, I would imagine, something across the lines of maybe Jackal, maybe Thatcher will be banned out here. I'm actually quite curious to see the fact that Thatcher is being left out quite frequently out of the bans, but just as I say that, he will be banned out here. And Jackal in the previous match was available, or rather was banned out, And I didn't really think it hurt as much to the attack, really, although given that Shadownet did some phenomenal roaming there.
Yeah, I think, we definitely seen the strength of Thatcher in that round, in the last game that was being streamed, because a lot of the times when you're trying to, hold hatches with a Cade Electroclaw, or whether even if you're just trying to trick a reinforced wall that you don't want the attackers to be opening, the Thatcher EMP, despite its changes, is still quite an effective gadget to counter all those anti-breach operators, so it's good to get him out of the way, especially if you're going to be starting off on defense.
Correct. Well, first round to go straight in, and it is going to be CCTV and Cash. That will be the first site to be defended here by Elevate. Looking at their lineup, it's nothing too unusual. Funnily enough, we shall be seeing Bandit and Kaid to make an appearance, same as Jaeger and Womaya, the two duos that are also powerful for the defense to prevent either the breaches or the rather any kind of projectiles will be present. But just as I say that, it's Kaid to be swapped over from him to the Malusi to prevent any kind of pushes, or rather slow them down to allow the defense to get some easier peaks, which leads me to a question. Do you reckon there is even a need anymore for, say, the Bandit and a Kaid setup for the CCTV and Cash?
Well, I mean, considering that Thatcher is banned as well, there definitely isn't a need for two anti-breach operators, which is something that I believe, Elevate has recognized, which is why they were given the liberty of six-picking off onto that, off the Kaid onto the Malusi. A lot of the times, instead of a Malusi, you do see some form of intel operator, such as a Valkyrie perhaps, or maybe a roaming operator. I have seen members of Elevate pull out, an alibi, a vigil, which is also just as effective. But to have that Malusi, she still is incredibly strong. I see her putting down her Malusi gadget down on those garage rafters, which could definitely help Cortari in holding that position as well.
Yeah, Kotari's position here is going to be probably one of the more expensive ones to really lose, if she will be lost out for the time being. As the breach does happen, Weasel is going to be taking point at the one of the walls of the garage. But it seems for the time being, 71st are actually taking their time really before any kind of breach. No ace pick as well, funnily enough, as the attacking side will not be flexing that pick, and instead it's Muse that is just waiting for any kind of play. Butter just takes quite a chunky amount of damage and will be forced to keep on playing actually at that position, as she won't really care at all about that. Ticktoff is still waiting for maybe one more time to actually have another chance at blowing things up there, and well, there's a peak already. Zero Prince is down, but won't be finished off at all. Ticktoff, fantastic play to really get a refrag and able to pick the Nomad back up.
Yeah, that was definitely an excellent turn of events. You don't want your Nomad to be dying that early off without expending any of her air jabs. Meanwhile, it is going to be Badass, who's still incredibly pressured from those presence down underneath. But it is going to be that Malusi pick with that new gun, the MP5, takes down TikTok and makes it so that it's an even 4v4 now.
Yeah, but the big difference here is that Meeps was actually able to finally get the breach going, so there's a nice and quick entry way to the side. But now there's still 4 players remaining, and Chloe has actually got a pretty nice angle set up right to look into that double door, although Toki is just about to run past that hole, but unfortunate timing is plaguing, it seems, Elevated. But oh, not just yet. Meeps has been down already. Zero Prince is quite low on health, same as Toki, and Zero Prince will not be able to get picked back up given that she was already down previously. A peek from above, Bluey is doing her absolute best here to just keep holding off the attack for as long as she possibly can.
I believe the res will be coming out onto Meeps. Yes, that is going to be an effective res. Will Bluey get that kill onto Zero Prince? She's getting extremely pressured out, but it is going to be Butter on that kill onto Weasel.
Yeah, Bluey also follows up with a headshot onto Zero Prince. Now it's all down to Toki, and she has been pretty much defaulted back to just outside the building to try to get anything, but unfortunately can't move as quickly whilst being prone, and well, it's Bluey to finish things off there. First round for Elevate with a little bit of hiccup in the beginning, but were able to recover pretty quickly in the middle of the round.
Yeah, 71st definitely had a really good instant refrag when Zero Prince was being downed on the ground. However, I don't think, they had quite an effective execution when they did need to get that bomb down onto the site because, Elevate definitely had all the angles locked down. And, with those Melusi gadgets, it definitely helped their job a lot.
Yeah, the Melusi certainly was holding off the push very well and definitely shows yet another reason why is that operator being picked as frequently as she is. Funnily enough, we are going to be dropping down into the church and arsenal room right at the bottom of the clubhouse, which should provide even more good positions for the defense to really play around, given that, well, for attack, it's just going to introduce a whole lot more issues to really deal with, and it seems that 71st are having a little bit of a struggle going into this matchup, it seems.
Yeah, 71st, we can't really decide yet what it's going to be like, but, they definitely didn't have the best starting round to initiate everything. Oh, a little drone getting taken down with those angles. It is going to be a little bit trickier for 71st to be attacking this side. There's definitely intel happening on Elevate side with Lola on that Valkyrie. However, Toki, with that IQ, should be able to, spot out some of those Valkyrie cameras, hopefully be able to take them down before they do a lot of damage.
Where was that peek even happening? Qatari, what was that swing? Seems that she was actually quite keen. Oh, that was a spawn peek almost. That was a vile one. But actually, I want to get your quick opinion on the fact that Elevate, comparative to what we saw from ShadowNet versus Kingswomen, actually bringing in quite an abundance of the information gathering. You have Bluey playing as the Legion. You have Lola as Valkyrie, as well as that Buddha could technically be considered as the crowd control / info gatherer with her Melusi devices. So, do you reckon they really need that much of an abundance of info gathering, or is it something that is just kind of more so of a comfort pick?
Oof. Sorry, let's just, that was very unfortunate kitchen hatch opening time. Zero Prince managing to get that almost free kill off onto Butter when she was, barricading up that wall. A little bit of shots do come out from out onto Zero Prince, but doesn't manage to finish her off. All these angles in the ground, you definitely don't want to be taking your eyes off onto this. It is going to be Qatari getting that kill onto Toki, that roam presence. Once again, being so effective. And to answer your question, Cthulhu, haven't forgotten about it yet. I definitely think that having a Melusi or having, these information gathering operators is an advantage, especially if you're a team that is able to capitalize onto that, especially if you have C4s or you have, impacts ready to deny that kitchen hatch from being opening. Having an additional set of eyes or some form of audio cue is always going to be an advantage. But, you're also trading out operators who could be doing different things. For example, on the ShadowNet defense side, we did see a lot of the Mozzie being played, and we did see a lot more proactive roam. But as I'm saying this, it is going to be Qatari getting a triple kill, that last kill being a pistol kill onto Weasel, who was downed on site. And this is looking like an Elevate game all over again.
Yeah, complete domination, minus the fact that Butter ended up going down to quite an unfortunate timing there. It seems that, Elevate are very much ready to take on any kind of hardships there, and Bluey doing some phenomenal job there at the end, and, well, a second round for Elevate to take will be resulting in a 2-0 scoreline, which seems like we might just be seeing maybe a quick conclusion of the first half if things will keep on going in a similar fashion.
I definitely do want to applaud 71st for the attack that they did make. A lot of the times when you're facing off against a team that is quite threatening and is quite scary, a lot of the times your attack is quite slow paced, which could prove disadvantage. You could be playing into the hands of the more aggressive team. But 71st did have a few aggressive pushes there. They managed to get open that church wall relatively fast. They managed to get onto site. If it wasn't for Qatari to take down all the members of 71st just like that, they could have gone off on a successful bomb plant, and things could have gone either way from there.
Yeah, that could have been a completely different outcome if the diffuser was planted and, well, a little bit more of the 71st players would have been alive. But it seems that right now, 71st just being completely denied just each and every single step that they are making without Elevate knowing where to go and have already a response 2 steps ahead. But maybe for this one, they might just be able to allow 71st, I would suppose,
10 seconds to go.
to get the win. But still, looking at the general setup, it seems like a very dominant one, although this very position for Buddha to play around could be the main weak point here, given that, well, 2 sets of ADSs is the only thing that is technically protecting the Bandit from being completely pushed out of that position.
Yeah, a lot of the times, instead of a Legion pick, you do see a castle being picked, which does mean that whoever is going to be the bandit trigger, in this case it is going to be Buddha, will have some castle barricades at least to protect them, and maybe to waste a little bit of projectiles out from the attacking team, so that, as the bandit, you at least have a little fighting chance to go about it. Weasel is going to be opening up a vaultable hole into that trash wall in construction, which does mean that she will be able to cut off any effective rotates that, Bluey might want if she wants to go back to the site.
Now, Ticktoff finding a nice shot onto Lola, that is going to be a great opener here for 71st, although there's still 4 more players that are very much able to frag out, namely Bluey and Cortari, who are currently still very much alive. Cortari, as a matter of fact, about to go on a mission, really, to try to maybe reinforce Bluey's position for Zero Prince make her entry here, as it seems that right now a dual push will be happening here. Weasel has already, well, yet actually to make a vault into the construction site, and that is probably one of the first few things that is keeping Bluey alive until Cortari makes the full rotation here. Actually about to get into the full-blown gunfight and actually gets the kill. Oh my goodness, the air jab is actually saving the 71st players, and well, that does leave Bluey in a bit of a pickle here now that she will have to contest against 3 different players. First gunfight, well, we'll be seeing the demise of that player, and now it's all down to Butter and Chloe. First gunfight goes into the favor of Butter. There's still 3 more players, but now it's only 1 player disadvantage here.
First smoke canister does also come out of Chloe, and it does mean that 71st will need to be a bit slower in their attack as to not, fall to the fumes of the smoke. But Zero Prince on a roll tonight gets that kill onto Chloe, and she does get taken down. But Meeps with that instant trade out onto Buddha, getting this round for 71st, and this is exactly what they need. Having this first attacking round is going to be such a benefit for their further rounds. Having that little confidence boost as well.
Definitely, yeah, especially after such a 2-round domination that Elevate have pulled off. Finally getting some points on board is definitely going to be feeling quite nice here for the attack of 71st. So we shall see if they will be able to continue that very thing, because otherwise might be a few issues further down the line, but that is still yet to be decided.
All in all, it was a really strong round to come out of the 71st attack, and this is, something that we haven't seen out of 71st in these past 2 rounds, or the past 2 rounds that their attack failed. So to see that potential in 71st is definitely going to be, such a confidence booster, and I can only hope that 71st can replicate this performance onto all the other attacking sites that Elevate will bring them to.
Yeah, the consistency is certainly going to be yet again the big question here between, as a matter of fact, both of these rosters, seeing as, well, previously we've seen Kingswomen have a few really good standout rounds where they were able to really dominate their opposition, but apart from that really couldn't keep up that scoreline. So possibly here 71st could be setting up a good beginning for them, but would they be able to keep up that kind of momentum for themselves, or whether it's going to be one of the few only points that they will be getting? We'll find out in the first few minutes here, but it seems that for now the main contest here is going to be kind of the dance between Butter and Meeps, but so is Lola actually, who manages to get ticked off very quickly, and also leave the Zero Prince at a very low amount of health. Will be traded off pretty quickly, so that's a very early gunfight that I personally wasn't really expecting, but certainly quite a banger to begin on.
I think this is something that we have seen come out of Lola a fair few times. You know, she is that aggressive player who will, you know, most of the time be able to carry out a few of those impactful kills, whether she's on attack or defense. But in that case, that was an excellent refrag coming out from Zero Prince. Sure, you know, you may have lost 99% of your health, but you did take down Lola, which could, in the long run, be such a detrimental effect on your team if she's allowed to live.
Oh, talking about being allowed to live, but a absolutely filthy peak there. We'll be seeing the end of Weasel. Now that does put 71st in a bit of a disadvantageous position, given the fact that Zero Prince is quite low in health, and Meeps and Toki are the only two players who are currently quite healthy. Toki, though, gets a very good opportunity to just start getting rid of some of the bandit charges, and well, Butter will not be present there to put down any more, so that means, well, now she's going to be in quite a dangerous position. Zero Prince about to maybe go in for a swing, but it seems that no breach has happened previously, so it's the doorway into the garage that will be the only way to go about it, and, well, Bluey will be shutting that very idea down. Meeps to trade off Cortari, but still, 3v2 with Zero Prince low on health doesn't really look too promising here.
Yeah, you really have to have Meeps win this trade out against Bluey, and then, you know, 71st will definitely have a better advantage in this round. But Butter getting that kill onto Zero Prince, making Meeps' job so much more harder, and it is going to be Bluey with almost a hipfire headshot onto Meeps, taking out that defense round for Elevate, and, you know, that was just as smooth as the first few rounds that Elevate won their rounds.
It almost feels like Elevate's loss there, bedroom and gym, was a little bit just of a hiccup on the side that they probably prepared slightly less than all the other sites, and well, maybe that was the case. Maybe they just didn't expect certain aggression, but alas, it's Arsenal Room that will be picked next, and last time it was a 4-0 victory there for the Elevate roster, so maybe they will be able to replicate the success. If they will be, though, that does set them up with, at the very least, a 2-point lead if 71st will still be able to take the 6th round for themselves.
Yeah, I do want to say, though, that 71st is responding to Elevate's aggression in a better way than I thought they would. You know, a lot of the kills that Elevate is getting are, you know, these aggressive swings, you know, spawn peaks, just things like you wouldn't be expecting out from, especially this early in the rounds. But 71st has been able to trade off a lot of those early kills. It's only when it comes down to, you know, the last 30 seconds when, you know, those impactful quick kills becomes much more effective. But it has been quite effective.
Yeah, definitely. The way how 71st were able to respond and make a few adjustments here and there certainly is a good sign there for the potential success. But right now, they're still only 2 rounds short, so we'll definitely need to come up with something completely different there and maybe ramp up the aggression to rather match Elevate's one, because as of now, they have been playing on a very almost passive note whilst being the attacking side.
Yeah, they're still quite cautious about how they're playing things, and I was going to comment, you know, I don't know if that was a glitch on the spectator's side, but I could have sworn that church wall was unreinforced. You know, I believe Elevate quickly realized their mistake, and they're going forth to reinforce that. Unfortunately, 71st didn't manage to spot that out, so could have been a quick rush for 71st down those main stairs, if, you know, especially if they had an Ash ready to open up those soft walls. But as it is, you know, 71st, as you were saying, is taking more of a passive, controlled push. So could be seeing some early hatches getting open, though.
Yeah, it feels like they're going for a bit more of a methodical idea. C4 there was placed by Val. Could have claimed the life, that is, if Weasel was playing on the breachable floor, but was cleverly able to read that in, and, well, an attempt at breaching will be done here. Another impact trick could be coming around, and Buddha should be able to do it. I was about to say Bluey, but she was swapped over to the Legion. Still 2 more sets of the impact grenades are there to deny any further breaching, and actually, as a matter of fact, Elevate should be able to deny that very thing. Flashbang goes in, and the last set of X-Kairos will be there, which Bluey will not be able to actually deny at all. And well, there's a successful breach, but nonetheless, a whole lot of utility has been drained, and TikTok is able to actually trade out butter for the Zero Prince.
Kotari falls dangerously low, but it is going to be Kotari who manages to finish off TikTok, and Lola with that kill through the ground onto Weasel, and Kotari with her double kill of the round onto Toki, and it is going to be defenders taking out this round so fast. Bluey with that final kill onto Meeps. This was definitely a more dominant show of defense out from Elevate. 71st had the right intention to go open the kitchen hatch to, waste a little bit of time up there. But ultimately, when it came to kills, Elevate is just so strong.
Oh, yeah. This is probably a bit of an early statement, but I'm definitely liking the addition of Bluey to the roster. She has been a very solid addition to the Elevate team. And so far, looking at the scoreline as well, she is actually the top fragger with only a single death, really. Whenever she died, pretty much that was the round where Elevate lost. So yeah, a little bit of a complete polar opposite of what I'm saying there, Bluey, but yeah, sure, we'll
an
stick to
interesting
the
point
other
that I like to say is, when a lot of people say, they're playing like a bot or something, if you think about it, when you're cheating, it's actually a bot that's helping you cheat. So it's like saying that bots are good, because a human aim can only be so good, right? Whereas with a hack or a actual bot macro or something, you could boost your headshot ratio to be 100%. So really, saying you're playing like a bot could be a compliment. I know, a little far-fetched, I know, but
10 seconds remaining.
that's one way to approach that idea. I'll give you that, and maybe I could take that for that saying for a spin later down the line. But look, for what it's worth, Bluey is definitely not playing as a bad bot. Let's just say that. She's been certainly quite good on
a high-paying bot.
Yeah. Essentially, if Nvidia was developing the Tihan bots for Siege, but it's all heavily advanced AI mixed with the realistic aim.
Very scary bot.
Yes, very. Just the AI in general is the whole concept of artificial intelligence that is able to just develop itself is kind of a scary aspect, not gonna lie. Well, discussion of the potential future of introducing Terminators to our lives aside, Weasel has just gone for that same very breach that was used whenever 71st were pushing the bedroom previously. Now, this time there's not going to be Bluey playing in the cache. Specifically, she will be playing just off and outside the cache, and Cortari could potentially play for maybe an upset here, but Bluey's now position is going to be a little bit compromised, as he might still be able to get a shot, but Zero Prince only gets tagged up, and now it's up to Zero Prince to actually go in for the swing. Goes in right then and there, but cannot connect any shots, and it's more so, actually neither of the parties do get tagged. Instead, it's Weasel and TikTok that are going into the gunfights, and Bluey will be finally taken down here. Already some more damage being dealt, as Chloe is the one that goes in for the swing. Deals quite a hefty amount of damage to Toki as well. And right now it's down to Zero Prince to actually go in for the swing. Does not get it. Butter also finds a shot onto Toki, and well, now it's down to TikTok and Meeps, and well, Toki and Meeps actually do able to frag it out to get it back to a 2v2, but both of them are very much disconnected right now.
TikTok gets downs outside, but with that unique Sophia passive, hopefully she's able to get that res off onto herself. She does get away with it, which means there is a second chance to be able to take off maybe either Chloe or Kotari. Meeps does have that main stack control, but those pings coming out from Elevate show that they do have the diffuser in their control, which means that 71st need to, not go for the site, but go for the kills, in which TikTok definitely went for. Manages to take down Chloe in a double kill, and it is just going to be Kotari all by herself. She does know where the diffuser is, which means she does have an idea of where 71st is going to be, and she does get away with it. She gets that double kill onto TikTok and Meeps as they were going for that diffuser, which is an excellent turn of events for Elevate, considering the weak start that they had to the round.
Yeah, that is one way to solidify the position. Almost lost out there by Elevate on their final defense round, but alas, still able to make a comeback there. 5-1 scoreline now between these two rosters, and we are going to be going to the CCTV and Cash defense now in the hands of 71st.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if there's going to be any change in, defense strategy out from 71st, maybe some change in attack strategy out from Elevate. CCTV Cash is a side that we do see starting off the majority of the time when we do see a clubhouse take. So I wouldn't expect anything different from the normal.
Need to locate and defuse bombs.
Yeah, well, let's have a look. Already once again the introduction of Castle, but this time for the CCTV side. Usually so used to see the FBI operator to make appearance on the gym bedroom, but I gotta say I like the idea of toying around with castle barricades on different other sides, just to kind of be a little bit more unpredictable, because usually the meta kind of states that you go for a bit more of, I suppose, projectile denial utility or the info gathering, but being able to drain out some of the breaching utility is a huge thing, especially if you don't have a sledge.
5 seconds.
Yeah, Castle is definitely one of those picks that you do want to be 6-picking onto, because against the unsuspecting team, he could really put a dent in your momentum, such as Elevate. If we look at Elevate's lineup, how many counters do they have exactly for the castle barricade? Sure, they have Lola's Ash charges to blow down those castle barricades, but Buck no longer has those frag grenades, and Bluey didn't take any breaches, which means that Elevate needs to be wise about how they open up these castle barricades. Of course, they could just forego the entirety of it and just go straight for the kills, but hopefully 71st is aware of this push up main stairs. There are the default cameras that are turned on, which indicates that Ticked Off possibly is on those cameras, giving that intel to her team.
I don't think actually those cameras have been shut down. Bluey now is being made aware of the hatch that was opened up and potentially could shut things down. Oh, instead it's Weasel. Fantastic shot onto Bluey, shutting things down very early for the Zafia main of Elevate. We'll be able to quickly get an advantage here. Now the main question is, can Lola make a return here and be able to shut down any further dreams of 71st about their potential win in this round? Because right now, well, that is one of the soft breaches out of the equation. Now let's have a look also at where are the castle barricades remaining. There's one on the construction site window, one's in CCTV, so technically, theoretically, the main entryways are not sealed off for Elevate to make an entry, so it's more so of a question, how can they take those gunfights, and Lola seeming to be the person who is about to make a statement in that regard.
Buddha does manage to melee down the castle barricades, but with that Nomad gun, you only have 21 bullets to make it count. If you're pre-firing like that, you possibly won't get the kill. But, prove me wrong and get that kill onto Weasel, which does mean it is construction secured for members of Elevate. I believe they use both those Kaid electrified claws on the CCTV wall, which means that when it comes to the cash push, those Havana pellets are able to go through relatively scot-free.
Curious as to how come Toki didn't really bother with using that C4, because that could have gotten rid of Butter pretty quickly. That flashbang lands directly at Kaid's feet, which will leave him immobile, which is the short few moment. Ticked off. Fantastic shot though. Able to keep things straight here with her, and her position certainly will be quite powerful. Able to stay alive here and keep throwing out those gas grenades for a little bit longer, but only a single gas grenade will be there because now she is down and will need to be finished off as quickly as possible, because it's Zero Prince that is holding her position on the red stairs. The plant is starting to go down. Chloe goes in for the swing. Cannot find a shot. Chloe, it's a double. Now it's all down to Toki and Meeps. Meeps is the last person standing, and the plant will start to go down. Lola very low on health, but still will have the positional advantage.
Yeah, it's all up to Meeps to get that kill down, but Lola on a sliver of health gets that headshot onto Meeps and cleans out that first attacking round for Elevate. Things definitely looked a little bit dicey, halfway through when members of Elevate just started to drop and there weren't actually any, impactful refrags to be coming out. But Elevate once again, shows that they are quite adept at, adapting on the fly, and managed to pull off a round like that.
Yes, definitely. 6-1 is going to be the name of the game here from here on for 71st, as they now don't have any more chances for any more mistakes. Seems that their push at Bedroom was felt almost like a fluke with the way how Elevate were able to run away with so many rounds, and now with this current lineup, it feels like Elevate have already managed to make all the needed adjustments, really. They bring in Akali to directly, I would imagine, either counter the Kaid charges or the castle barricades. As well as that, bringing in the Sledge, well, should definitely make things a whole lot easier to deal with those, as it seems 71st have not really caught up with any of those picks that Elevate has brought on board.
I believe, they took that Kali because when Lola was actually underneath in stock, she wasn't or in lounge, she wasn't actually able to spot any of the Kai charges on the wall. That's because Toki, if we look at where she's placing those electrified claws, she's not actually placing them on the wall, she's placing them on the terrain around the wall, which means if you're a Kali and you're trying to, use your Lances to break that essentially, it's not going to happen because those claws aren't on the wall, so nothing's going to be happening. Hopefully, they do manage to drone that out and they are aware of this before they expend any gadgets towards it. But it is an excellent, little positioning by Toki and her gadgets, which definitely has helped 71st with their defense.
Yeah, for Elevate, that means that they will most certainly have a few issues about how to go about it. Although I do believe that the drone should have spotted the position of one of the Kaid Electroclaws, but few issues there for Butter, as now she's feeling a little bit confused. Probably will be the one way to really call it, because now Chloe is forced out of her position, and the whole of Elevate roster will actually be prompting to rather go in for a swing in the jacuzzi wall that got breached pretty quickly. Lola to open up the scoreline onto Ticktoff will be a fantastic beginning here. But now the push onto construction site will need to happen, and Weasel already able to have a response here onto Bluey.
Yeah, this is definitely a fast and well-needed rotate out from Elevate. As soon as you realize that your Kali isn't able to pull off the effective opening of the CCTV wall, you rotate all your resources over to catch, and oh no, Lola gets that kill onto Weasel, who was at that point extremely blind to her surroundings as well, quite literally. It is going to be Zero Prince taking down that kill onto Lola, which means it's still an effective trade, but Cortari through the wall at head height as well, takes down Zero Prince, which means it is just going to be Toki and Meeps holding on for the round.
It's only one player disadvantage, so this is still very much workable here for 71st, but they will need to make sure that they hit their shots as right as they can. Unfortunately for Meeps, that is going to be it for her run, and Toki gets finished off by Butter. It's a GG well played. It's a 7-1 scoreline, and Elevate continue their extremely dominant performance here on their second matchup.
Yeah, those were a few rounds where, it looked to be either Elevate's game or 71st's game, but I just want to say, Elevate has really showed up with their fragging potential, and a lot of, these unwinnable situations, they actually came through and managed to deliver. If we look at the scoreboard, you can definitely see that, Cortari has definitely pulled her weight this entire time, but not even that. All of Elevate has contributed quite intensely towards this win.
Yeah, it felt like Elevate were playing as one single unit, kind of. And, that does bring them to the very nice win. Well, congratulations to the Elevate roster. It seems that the renewal of the team has really brought just the right fruits, I suppose, together. And, that's another win. We'll be keeping them on the top of the leaderboard, which now makes me quite curious about whether there will be any kind of advancement, or rather changes to their positioning later on into the round.
Yep, I'm definitely curious to see how Elevate is going to be going on in these further rounds. They definitely showed a really strong advantage at the start. So, I can only hope to see that they continue this momentum and we see repeat performance in the subsequent weeks.
Definitely. Well, let's have a look at the tonight's results to get us updated one more time. before we call it a night. 7-4 was the win for Shadownet to win over King's Women, as well as that Elevate to win over 71st in a very dominant fashion there, which should be setting things up pretty straightforward there, especially for Elevate. For Shadownet, I do believe that would be pushing them just about, I believe, fourth or third place after their first win in the Season 2. So, look, overall, this has been a very interesting night and a very good set of performances for Shadownet. Especially, it will be a good day for them, given that there will be something for them to flex on during the Armageddon Expo as well.
Little bit of a shout out there if you want to, see members of Shadownet, not just the women's league team, but just Shadownet entirely. They will be present in New Zealand.
Definitely, yeah. Whole of their roster, including the management team, will be present. So do go there, do tell them we said hi, and well, maybe enjoy their company as well. But just before we shall close out the show as well, quick reminder about our charity, Pink October. We do have the aim of $3,000 together for the Cancer Council, which is a good cause to really go for. And, well, it's the link you can see right on your screens if you do want to donate even just a few more. Just a few more dollary dues, maybe. It's for a good cause and, well, for the potentially saving a few people's lives. So there you go. Already we've managed to raise $78. Maybe, well, not maybe. We'll be still aiming for our aim, but we'll have to see. For the time being, that does shape us a very interesting picture with the fact that a few of the teams that we kind of were expecting to perform, turns out, well, they still yet to get some of the wins. And I'm quite curious, though, how will some of the newer introductions to Season 3 will be performing here against some of the top-end teams, namely Nocturnal. But let's have a look at the updated standings and how things so far worked out for us. Nocturnal currently sitting on the first place. Elevate to follow suit as well with only 2-round differential. 71st got dropped down to the second place, and Shadownet are currently in the fourth place for themselves.
Yeah, out of all of these teams, Shadownet is the one with the bye in the first week, which does mean to, be boosted up from almost last place straight up to fourth, especially after that win they showed up today. It's definitely going to be a strong start, but, as we've seen, Nocturnal and Elevate are going to be the top 2 contenders for this season, and, I don't doubt that this performance is going to continue, so between the two of us, I am quite keen to see a show-off happen between Nocturnal and Elevate, which should be coming up quite soon, so, keep tuned.
Yes, yeah, I'm genuinely quite keen for that Nocturnal Elevate matchup, given that that will probably be at least partially a bit of a grudge match between a few of the players, given that Nocturnal does consist of a few of the ex-Elevate players as well. So definitely will be quite a battle of the two Goliaths, most definitely, and I would be expecting maybe an overtime to really happen here as well. So with that said, though, that is just about it. Any kind of final closing thoughts before we'll close off the show for tonight? Hi.
I just want to say, today's games have definitely been quite an experience to watch through. The first, the Shadownet versus Kingswomen, to see, the development that Shadownet has come through as a relatively new team with additionally a substitute member, and also the second game to just have Elevate once more assert their strength in this entire tournament to show us just because our roster is different doesn't mean we're any weaker than we were before.
Definitely, yeah. Elevate certainly making quite a statement, and well, they will need to keep up their statement for quite a few more weeks before they will be heading into the playoffs. But from us for tonight, that is just about it. Thank you all for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Pi, for joining me for yet another fantastic night of Women's League. And thanks to XP Esports for organizing it all, as well as that huge thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors. That is a ZQ Racing, Ubisoft, Computer Alliance, Intel, Cooler Master, and as well as that, I believe, Republic of Gamers, ROC by Acer. So from that, with that said, thank you all very much. Take it easy, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next week.
I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way.